Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So, Hive Scum is out on Tuesday, so let's take a look at a day one build you can use, or at least work towards, while you're leveling up. So, this is going to be a ranged build. And I say range in air quotes because you're a Hive Scum, you're going to be in melee range at all times. So, we're going to be using the improvised shivs and the Branks Mark, whatever the hell it is, dual stub pistols. I'm guessing this is with zero testing. This is all theory craft, so don't blame me if it doesn't work properly. It should do. All of my builds work, and this is just theory crafting off of this, as I don't have access to the PTR. So going with the shivs, mobility is going to be the dump on both of these because screw mobility, and also your Hive Scum, you have the mobility already. You don't need an extra 0.5% on your weapon. So dump mobility, everything else max out. We're going with the shivs and the dual stub pistols because they're new weapons and we're going to play with them. What we're looking at is carapace and flak for the melee weapons because you're going to need them to open up those crushers and maulers like tin cans. We're going with execution and uncanny strikes. Both of them are very, very good, and from what it looks like, they'll work very well with the Hive Scum. Lots of weak spot hits and increased rending. As for the ranged weapon, as I said, the dual stub pistols. And we're going to be going with flak and unyielding, mainly because they're two really good perks and they work pretty well on everything. Flak being the most prevalent armor type and unyielding to help you with boss damage. We're going to try out pinning fire. I'm not entirely sure about pinning fire. This is the only thing I'm not entirely sure of. And Desperado. Pinning fire, 5% strength for every enemy you stagger, stacks 5 times. I mean, if that doesn't work, you can always try Born in Blood. Keeps you safe. Or Huracan Roulette for more crit. Crit does work very well on the Hive Scum from what I've seen. I mean, whatever. And speed load, that also works well. Lots of reload speed. It's always good. I mean, you can change these at will anyway, so this is just my suggestion. And Desperado for 20% crit chance for 6 seconds on a successful dodge. Next up, we've got the Curios. Now, I'm thinking toughness and 1 stamina, or possibly 1 toughness and 2 stamina. I mean, it's going to take us goddamn weeks to get perfect Curios anyway, because it's just horrible grinding Curios in this game. As for the perks, toughness, combat ability regeneration, and damage resist to gunners. Again, with the stim crafting, we might not need the whole combat ability regen because I'll show you that at the end, but it gives us it. So we could change this out for stamina regen and resist to snipers. I'm leaning more towards stamina regen, to be honest. 2 stamina regen and 1 damage resistance snipers, with toughness across the board, damage resistance gunners. But yeah, I do think the extra stamina is going to help a lot on the Hive Scum, so we may even go for 2 stamina Curios. But we'll see. As for the build, it's going to look something like this. As always, this is going to be subject to change and testing. This is literally a day one theory craft for you. So we're looking at in your face for 25% range damage against targets within 12.5 meters, scaling down to a minimum of 10% at 30 meters. You're going to be, as it said, in their face. Voice of Tertrim, replenish 8% toughness on ranged kill. Elites and specials instead replenish 15. And then we've got precision violence. Melee hits replenish 4% toughness. Melee critical strikes and weak spot hits instead replenish 8%, and critical weak spot strikes replenish 12%. Moving target, gain 1 effective dodge while wielding your ranged weapons. Speed loader, 30% reload speed for 8 seconds on close range kill. And then we've got calling for a timeout. Minus 20% toughness damage taken while reloading and 4 seconds afterwards. From what it looks like, you're going to be loading and reloading a goddamn lot. Now, we have got the choice here of Blackout. A quick use grenade to stagger your enemies. Every 20 kills at close range, generate 1 grenade, 5 maximum grenades. but you also do have the rocket launcher or you have the chem grenade. Again, without testing, I don't know which one of these is going to be best. I just went for this because stun always sounds good. Gang tough, 10% range damage and 10% toughness damage reduction. Slippery customer, while sliding, gain melee attack immunity. Always good for jumping around things. Nimble, dodges are extended by 25% and time considered dodging by 50%. Jittery, plus 40% dodge recovery speed while stamina is above 75%. Like the wind, 15 sprint dodge angle. In addition, sprint dodge is available when stamina is depleted. That's so badly written. I mean, we can take this out. I'm not entirely sure how good that's going to be. And then we've got Gunslinger Improvement. When an ammo pickup is collected by you or your allies in coherency, you each replenish ammo equal to 10% of that pickup. That's nice. I mean, we've also got Anarchist for 5 critical chance, well, 5% critical chance, sorry, or Ruffian for melee damage, but we're going range, so it'll either be this or this. This is probably a better choice, just because you're going to be going through ammo like it's nobody's business. And then we've got our ability. You're actually going to show it. There we go. Swap to and reload your ranged weapons, entering in enhanced Desperado for 10 seconds. For the duration, you become impossible to hit by ranged attacks, and sprinting costs no stamina, as well as gaining 20% sprint speed. While the ability is active, reloading your weapon does not reduce your ammo reserve. Additionally, enemies within close range become highlighted. Killing highlighted enemies with your ranged weapon extends the duration by 1 second. After 20 seconds, the extending becomes diminished. Base cooldown 45 seconds. And then pick your targets, gain 15% rending for your ranged attacks while Enhanced Desperado is active. Additionally, killing highlighted enemies also grant 3% range damage, stacking 5 times. And then we've got the other modifier, which you haven't picked yet. Killing highlighted enemies restores 0.5 seconds ability cooldown. Elite and specials instead restores 1 and 5, respectively. So lots of shooting. And then we've got over here in the middle for melee damage, we're grabbing punching above one's weight, 15% damage against elites and monstrosities. It's just free damage. Burst of energy, gain stun immunity for 6 seconds and restore 50% toughness when toughness is broken, 10-second cooldown. This is a ridiculously small cooldown for what this does. So any build will probably take this. Up to 20% damage reduction depending on available stamina. Additionally, up to 20% melee damage depending on spent stamina. And then we've got our keystone block. So we've got quick and deadly, 15% close range damage for 3 seconds after a successful dodge. Increased melee attack speed for each current stamina. Again, written really badly. The sweet spot, plus 25% weak spot damage. Critical strikes instantly kill human-sized enemies if their current health is less than 2 times the amount of damage of the critical strike. Requires somebody that can do maths, which I cannot. Unload. Reloading your ranged weapon grants 2% range damage for 7 seconds. Each 10% of magazine spent during the duration grants 2% additional range damage. And then we've got the actual keystone, which is Vulture's Mark. Killing a special or elite enemy with a ranged weapon grants you a stack of Vulture's Mark for 8 seconds. Stacks 3 times. Each stack grants 5% range damage, 5% range critical strike chance, and 5% movement speed. While at max stacks, specials and elite range kills restore 15% toughness and to you and your allies in coherency. That's sexy. I like that. Vulture's Push. Killing an elite or a special enemy with a ranged attack knocks all enemies around you backwards. And Patient Hunter. Duration of Vulture's Mark is extended to 12 seconds. And the one we didn't pick, range critical strikes grant immunity to all attacks for 1 second. I mean, it could be good, it could be terrible. I don't know. As I said, this will require some real-time testing. But then we have the Stim Lab. And I've kind of gone with this, again, it requires testing. We've got Calm for cooldown regeneration. It's just lots and lots and lots of that. And then we've got the top bit, which is Barrage, which is giving us toughness, regeneration, and damage taken, a minus to it. But then we've got this side, you know, strength. This is probably quite good for melee. And then we've got this bottom one, which is just attack speed. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just going to require some fiddling. But there you go, folks. This is just something to mull over while we wait for Tuesday to roll round. I'll probably be fiddling about with some other versions, you know, see if we can get a melee version going or a chem version. I'm not entirely sold on the chem stuff yet, but we shall see. Anyway, there you go, folks. I hope this has been interesting for you. If it has, please do like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And I shall see you all for the next one. So till then, take it easy. I'll see you later.